Hey YouTube, Brian from channel Huckster here. Today I'm going to bring my updated deck profile for Dark Magician through the December 2020 ban list. Being blunt, nothing on that ban list really changed the deck, but figured why not, new ban list, let's update the deck profile. So let's just get to it. Obviously, Dark Magician, so you're going to be running the 3 Dark Magician. Again, really nothing to say about it, vanilla monster. I guess, adding to the kind of brick cards. These are the kind of 5 cards you really don't want to see. Some more than others, being these 2 right here. Some people don't like Dark Magician Girl. I still like her. I stand by her. She brings utility through other cards in this deck, especially in this new updated version. So I feel the downside of possibly drawing her in your hand as a kind of pseudo brick really is kind of small compared to what she brings to the deck, like otherwise than that. So these are still the cards though that you really don't want to get. Obviously, Red Eyes is for Dragoon. Spoilers. Of course, Magician's Rod, Stratos of the deck. Of course, why would you not play him? Normal Summon searches any spell or trap that specifically lists Dark Magician. And of course, the other effect too that I feel like a lot of people really don't remember is anytime if you activate a spell or trap or effect while he's in your graveyard, you can tribute a spellcaster monster and add him to your hand during your opponent's turn. So being able to just, reoccur your Stratos for the deck is really powerful, and I feel like a lot of people, even like Dark Magician players, don't abuse that, and they really should. These next set of cards are just essentially the body on board cards, I call them. So we run the 3 Apprentice Illusion Magician. It's kind of funny with the new support from the legendary duelist. She really wasn't needed anymore because of Magician Souls. But then with the adding of Dragoon and, of course, using Anaconda for it, she actually kind of came back in relevance just because she's a free special summon on board. I mean, yeah, you have to pitch stuff, but it's really not that bad. She gets a Dark Magician to your hand, so, you're trading 1 card in your hand for a body on board and another card from your deck, so really not that bad. The Honest boost, she gives an extra 2,000 attack. It's not awful. It comes in handy sometimes, but really you just play her for that body on board effect. Next up, of course, the Magician Souls. Again, I know this card's still expensive, but if you're going to play it in any deck, and honestly, I think if you're picking up Dark Magician in general, you really do need this card. It's honestly the best card in the deck. We'll probably get that reprint next year, so that'll be nice, but until then, it's like, last I checked, like $85+ still, but you have to play it if you're playing Dark Magician. And why? Well, it gets your Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl in the graveyard specifically for this deck. Again, it's a free body on board. It's your draw power. It's literally the band-aid that fixes the vast majority of problems that Dark Magician has as a deck. So, it's super good. Of course, play it at 3 if you can. If not, understand, but you're really lowering the ceiling of your deck by not playing it. Another body on board card, Jester Confit. Honestly, I do not know why more people aren't playing this card. This card's incredible. It's just says special summon me in attack position. It is a dark level 1 spellcaster, 0 attack, 0 defense, super searchable. You can play Where Art Thou, because you also do play the Magician Soul, so you do have 6 level 1 monsters, so it's not bad. I don't play it, but it is an option. But he has, his only downside is that you can only control 1, but that's it. So if you can just remove him from the board, which there are plenty of easy ways to do, then even if you open 3 in your hand, it's actually very easy to just keep summoning him. His summoning effect is not once per turn. Honestly, again, I feel like more decks should be playing this. Not really much to say other than that. Again, it's a dark spellcaster too, great synergy with the deck. And again, it's just a body on board because 9 out of 10 times you're trying to get Anaconda on the board so you can bring out Dragoon and set up for, to stop your opponent on their turn and then OTK them on your next turn. And lastly, the only other monster I run is the 3 Ash Blossom. Really, this can be any hand trap you want. I just pick it right now because it's just kind of the hits most things hand traps. Veiler works. Nibiru works if you're playing up against maybe at your locals, if you have that open right now, or just, friends or wherever. If they have combo heavy decks, Nibiru is not a bad option. Really just kind of any hand trap you need. Like I said, I just kind of play her because it hits most things. Moving on to the spells, the second best spell I would actually say in the deck, Dark Magical Circle. Activate it, you excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, add a Dark Magician or spell or trap that specifically lists Dark Magician. Other than that, it just kind of sits there and does nothing until you are able to summon Dark Magicians, either from your graveyard, hand, deck, wherever, and target and banish your opponent's cards. It's a good card, and it's especially made even better with Soul Servant, which I would argue is the best spell in this deck. This card just allows you to put any Dark Magician or card that lists Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl just on top of your deck, and is a draw for every Dark Magician Girl, or Palladium Oracle monsters with different names. I don't play the Palladium Oracle monsters, though I will say, and I know a lot of, especially Dark Magician players, give Mahad shit. Honestly, he's actually not a bad card. He is easy to stack on top of your deck with this, then draw him by banishing this from the graveyard, hopefully having a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl somewhere on the field or in your graveyard, and then getting, that special summon off of his special summon effect. When he attacks a dark monster, which is the most common attribute you see in this game, he doubles his attack up to 5,000, and it's not an activated effect or anything, so honestly, he can even swing over cards like Dragoon. He's not terrible. I don't play him because he can be bricky, and you already are kind of playing, some bricky cards like I mentioned before, so I don't, but he's not a terrible option. And then the last Dark Magician spell I run 2 Secrets of Dark Magic. I've tried this at 1, I've tried this at 2, never tried at 3 too much, but I tried it there, and honestly, I like 2 right now. It's kind of a card I've switched between using a copy of Inheritance as opposed to a second copy, but since I took out the spellbook engine, I didn't really have that kind of extra, kind of little double spells I just put in the graveyard using that little combo, so I like it at 2 right now. It's nice because it's a card you don't really mind seeing, considering one of your fusions you can make with practically every single monster in this deck. So it's a card that you could change around, but I personally right now like it at 2. And of course, talking about Dragoon, Red Eyes Fusion, you send it off like Anaconda. Everyone knows what this does by now, whether or not you're tired of Dragoon or not. And rounding off the spells, I play the 3 Allure of Darkness for the draw power, and then one of my favorite cards in the game, Upstart Goblin. Especially like Upstart Goblin in this deck, because if you open that in Soul Servant, you can just put whatever you need on top of your deck, activate Upstart, get that card. So, really nice. And then again, Allure of Darkness, everything but Ash Blossom in the deck is a dark, so super easy. You really don't mind losing one of your Dark Magicians, or even like a Rod or Apprentice or Magician's Soul, so just being able to trade the 2 for 2, it's well worth it in the deck. And lastly, following up with the traps, of course, I run the 3 Eternal Soul. I know some people like running this card at 2. I like it at 3 still. Maybe I'm just kind of hard stuck on that, but I like being able to have that little higher chance when I activate a Circle and I can see Eternal Soul when I'm really trying to get that card to my hand. So 3 Eternal Soul, the love it, hate it card of this deck. Everyone, even non-Dark Magician players know, lets you summon a Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard to the field, and then protects all monsters that are Dark Magician. If you're playing the Ritual variant, it protects them. Even monsters that specifically have their name changed to Dark Magician through their effect. And then, of course, the if it goes, so do all your monsters effect. The newest card, though, I do run the Magician's Combination. It is really easy in this deck, I feel, to be able to send the Dark Magician Girl to the graveyard, and then go into Anaconda, send the Dark Magician off of his effect to the graveyard, be able to revive that Dark Magician, through, let's say, Eternal Soul, and then have that negate on board. And I just think that's something that's really solid and gives this deck another just negation to it other than just Dragoon pass. You can summon Magician Souls, send the Dark Magician Girl to the graveyard, normal summon Rod, special summon Apprentice, just whatever it is. Or, if you have Dark Magician Girl in your hand, send her to the graveyard through Apprentice's discard effect. Then, with those two monsters, go to Anaconda, send Red Eyes Fusion, summon Dragoon. Now you have the Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl in the graveyard. You now get that extra plus off of Soul Servant. It's a card that I will admit is really the only card I feel in this deck is the Brick, because, once or twice I've had it and I just have it in my hand, I don't have the setup, and it's just a card that I'll discard off for Apprentice or whatever, but it's really not that hard in order to get this card to go, and especially in the grind game. Yes, Yu-Gi-Oh's a fast game, but if you can grind it to that halt and just keep going, Dark Magician just lives off of that. You just every turn being able to negate, banish, it really helps kind of raise that and help that grind game kind of a little bit more. I understand totally if you don't want to run it. I really recommend to anyone who kind of just looks at this card and goes, no, like it's not. Give it a try. Just maybe like 10 duels against like bots on Ignis or whatever. I feel like you'll maybe come around and at least side deck it. And lastly, running, speaking of negation, the 3 Infinite Impermanence. Good card. Can't be called by the grave. RIP. For anyone who like to have 3 copies of that. Super solid card. You can set it off of one of our fusions and then activate it that turn. So it's Impermanence. Everybody plays it. Everybody loves it. And now it's cheaper for budget players. Quotations, cheaper. And lastly, moving on to the extra deck. Dark Magician. We play the 3, I would argue, best Dark Magician fusions. The other ones are situational to bad. But these 3 are good. Obviously, Dragoon. He's your everything. He is your burn. He is your negation. He is your board clearing. He is your swing for game. He is your lover, and he will take care of your kids too. He's everything. The Dark Magicians, this is why I actually don't really mind running 2 Secrets of Dark Magic. It's really easy to go into. Just keep, like I said, in that grind game, just keep getting advantage. Anytime a spell or trap is used on either person's turn, you, once per turn, just get to draw a card. If it's a spell or trap, you can set it, and if it's a quick play spell or a trap, you can activate it that turn. So it's really nice, like with Impermanence and kind of stuff like that to use. So really good. And obviously, combos with your Soul Servants that you can activate and all that. So really good card. And then Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. I feel bad for this card. He used to be like the go-to Dark Magician fusion. But now, like 9 out of 10 times, you'd rather just go into Dragoon since they're really the same summoning requirements. But he's still a really good card. Harpy's Feather Duster's in the game. So being able, like I said, to protect your Eternal Soul, he can do it. And if you summon out Dragoon and Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, you can just create this incredible lock that really just puts it to your opponent. That's it for fusions. XEs also run 3, similar to like the fusions. Going to be honest, you don't really need to play any of these. They're more of just kind of situational. Of the 3, really, I go into Flare Metal Dragon the most. Just kind of for that extra, my opponent's on maybe 1,000 life points or less. You just kind of summon him to get the burn. Have your opponent just kind of burn themselves. You do have Red Eyes in the deck, so its effect to actually summon that's relevant. So it's not bad. Big Eye's that card that I feel when he comes up, you are super happy you kept him in, but like that's maybe 3 duels out of 100. But you'll be happy those 3 you kept. Just utility. That's pretty much most of the Dark Magician extra deck. Same with Ebon Illusion Magician, getting the banishes when a vanilla monster attacks, being able to summon the Dark Magician from your deck. It happens. Link 1 monsters, Link Spider, Imduk, and Relinquished Anima. So Link Spider and Link Spider and Imduk are 2 cards that you use them to get rid of your Dark Magician on the field, say for something like Anaconda or Access Code Talker, who require effect monsters. So these just kind of turn them into that. You'll want to go into Imduk first, just in case, because he's a dragon, so there is synergy with Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, and Dragoon. But rarely I have had it before where I actually had 2 Dark Magicians and I need to get rid of both of them to make them affect monsters effectively. So that's why you run those. Relinquish Anima, he is your get Jester Confit off the board card. Like I said, in case you open up 2 of them, you can just special summon Jester Confit, turn one of them into Relinquish Anima, summon the other one, boom, go into Anaconda. Not only that, again, his effect's really solid, being able to take stuff, and it's relevant, and it comes up quite a bit. Link 2 monsters, we have, of course, Anaconda, Witch Apprentice, IP Masquerena. You know, these 2, like I said, they're just utility. Anaconda, obviously, you need him. Sends the Red Eyes Fusion, gets out the Dragoon. I know I'm going through this stuff fast, but I don't want to explain stuff that probably 1,000 players have played through in the last 2 minutes. So we all know how that card works. And then, you know, IP Masquerena will then go into Knightmare Unicorn. You do have Selene, I would highly recommend, and Access Code Talker. I know this card's pricey, so maybe like Appaloosa or Boral Sword for that, if you kind of want to play it more budget. Selene's super good. A lot of people, you know, they'll take off your Dragoon and then they think, oh, that's it, that's all he has. If you can just go into Selene, she can just special summon a spellcaster by removing 3 spell counters, and you just get back your Dragoon and negate away again. Of course, Unicorns with IP Masquerena, spend stuff on your opponent's turn. Access Code Talkers just to kind of finish up games. Again, half this extra deck is really stuff that, honestly, just kind of take what fits for you. The only ones that I would highly recommend keeping are, of course, the fusions here. I would say the Anaconda, of course. I would highly recommend the Link 1 monsters, because you do want to have those, like I said, in order to just kind of clear stuff. But really, other than that, maybe Selene, too. The other half is really just utility, just for, you know, your given situation. If you want to run, you know, maybe something else that you've thought in your extra deck, you've tried out, maybe little combos too. Instant Fusion is a target you can go into, put the 2 relinquished fusion monsters in. I've tried that before. It works. Just whatever. It's whatever kind of you feel. This deck isn't really super reliant on having a super tight extra deck. Anyway, that's the Dark Magician deck profile. I know it's been a while. I got no excuses. It's just been a while. That's all I can say. Hope you guys like the deck profile, and have a good night.